Beloved friends, I greet you today with a message for the weary, the disappointed, the ones who have tasted loss. Perhaps you have recently walked out of a building for the last time, carrying a box of belongings, and a heart heavy with questions. The world calls it being fired or laid off, but your soul calls it shaken. Yet hear me, a closed door is not the end of your story. It is often the first sentence of a new chapter, one you could not have written on your own. For the God who opens doors no man can shut is the same God who sometimes closes doors to lead you to places you never imagined. I want to tell you about Elena. Elena had worked at her company for 7 years. She was loyal, diligent, the one who stayed late when no one else would. Then, in a single 10-minute meeting, she was told her position was no longer needed. She smiled politely, shook hands, and carried her little box to the car. But the moment she closed the door, the smile broke. Tears came fast. Fear came faster. She thought, how will I pay the bills? What will my family think? Did I fail? Did God forget me? That night, she couldn't sleep. She scrolled through job boards, through social media, through her own doubts. And in that swirl of noise, she whispered a single prayer, God, if you are still with me, show me. Days turned into weeks. Then, in the quiet of an early morning, Elena went for a walk. The air was cool, the streets were empty, and for the first time in weeks, her mind was still enough to listen. A thought rose in her heart, not loud, not flashy, you were not buried. You were planted. That was the day her faith began to shift. She stopped asking why me? And started asking what now, Lord? And in time, a new opportunity came, one that used her gift more deeply and allowed her to mentor others, something she'd always wanted but never pursued. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. There are truths we must hold tightly in the valley of job loss. Your identity is not your job. The world may measure you by titles, paychecks, and promotions. God measures you by faith, character, and obedience. Closed doors are divine redirection. Joseph was thrown into a pit and sold into slavery, and yet that very detour led him to the palace. What feels like a loss may be the positioning for your next assignment. Faith grows best in uncertainty. We say we trust God, but trust is proven only in the dark. It is in the moments when the paycheck is gone and the calendar is empty that faith stretches its roots deepest. Remember? Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, they shall mount up with wings as eagles. Isaiah 40:31. Here is how to walk this season faithfully. Anchor yourself daily in prayer. Begin each morning not with job boards or social media, but with a whispered, here I am, Lord. Lead me today. Write down every closed and open door. Seeing God's faithfulness on paper will remind you that endings are often hidden beginnings. Stay in motion, even in the waiting. Apply, learn, volunteer, or create. Faith is not passive, it is movement toward the future God is shaping. Speak life over your situation instead of I lost everything. Say I'm being positioned for what's next. Words frame your perspective, and perspective fuels perseverance. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 35. If you have been fired, hear me, you are not finished. You are not forgotten. You are in a sacred in-between, where God often does his finest work. Walk with your head lifted, not because your circumstances are perfect, but because your faith is alive. When one door closes, another will open. And when it does, you will see that the same God who walked you out of the old place was already waiting to welcome you into the new. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9